Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
What the heck is the truth jihad? Hey, I'm Kevin Barrett, host of Truth Jihad Radio. Federal prosecutors, Department of Homeland Security agents, and curious passersby often ask me, just what is this truth jihad thing anyway? Well, everybody knows what truth is, but jihad is a misunderstood term. Jihad means effort or struggle. The greater jihad is the struggle to be a better person, while the lesser jihad is the struggle to defend the community. Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, did say that the best jihad is a word of truth flung in the face of a tyrant. And that's what we do here at Truth Jihad Radio. Every Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific, right here on Revolution Radio.
Don't miss the Crick Rick and Jonathan Show every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Studio B, right here at Revolution Radio.
The journey begins to fun, health, and freedom.
The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panametric fan. The lineup consisted simply of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal vanes, so fitted to the ambifacient lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. The main winding was of the normal Lotus-O deltoid type, placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every 7th conductor being connected by a non-reversible Tremi pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meters.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio, taking the confusion out of transmutated lunar girdle springs for 4 years and running. Revolution Radio, the #1 listener-supported alternative media radio on the planet.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio!
Hey. 2Feathers back. We back. Boy, look. They so-called it weak signal. Yeah, weak signal my foot. You know, anytime you bring this good info like we do, these suckers always, you never know. Because I got an article that also kind of heads up to this AI of where the great interruption may be coming from. So stay tuned, because you never know how good this information gets with boy, look, Sergeant Miller, if you happen to be catching it right now, I'm back on. So if you want to, I already called you back in, so it shows you on here as far as being connected. All you gotta do is connect to the other server, not the one we was on, but the new one that I called you into. He might have had a call. So,
Okay, I'm here. You hear me?
all right. Yeah, I can hear you fine, Sarge. Come on in there.
All right. You
Yeah.
I think Darren want to join. You don't mind?
Who is that?
Darren.
Oh, yeah, bring Darren. Yeah, sure enough, my brother. Bring him on in. Yeah, of course. Come on in there. Yeah, add him to the call. Let me see. Make sure I can see when he's on.
Yeah, we was just talking. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So you got the studio back. All right. So we good.
Yeah, I got the studio back. Yeah. But first of all, we'd like to welcome Darren. Stand by for a second. Let me do just a little bit of house cleaning. I'll get back on track maybe Thursday night with the 2Feathers show. And just let people know they are listening to the number one listener supported station in the land, in my opinion, in the world. Because you know what? Sooner or later, it's not that we got to go to their side. The thing is, they got to come correct and come to our side, because we can see the side that they're playing on with this weather engineering and the happenings of the way that they're bringing proxies and all that what they're showing for the people that want to be awake in this timeline that they call of they can't figure out that this is what they're really going on in. It's a timeline, and we're all in it. What a great day to be alive. What a great time to be alive. And with this thing we call the timeline. Because you know what? For people that want to be asleep, why, you know what? One thing that people have to give me credit for is this statement right here. Why is it that the majority of the damn tornadoes and all this catching people at nighttime? Oh, why? Because they're sleeping on my pillow. Oh, you know what my pillow has? The new technology. So you're extra comfortable. And that's not saying anything against Mike Lindell. That's just saying they found out some new technology. So the people ordering their my pillow with the new technology. You see? And they bringing on them nice new M1A1 tanks and them Abrams tanks. They come equipped with the my pillow. You see? So, for people that want to be asleep to the statement that I just made, go ahead. You have every opportunity. If you haven't got the new technology, my pillow, go ahead and order you one. So you have the rightful kind of information, just go ahead. Go get yourself comfortable in front of the television and let it mind rape you. Or you could turn on the nighttime talk shows that don't feel bad about mind raping you in every hole that you have in your body. But when you're listening to Revolution Radio, you get this realization of what's going on in your timeline. You wake up and realize there's ways of supporting this station. And that is www.revolution.radio, freedomslips.net, and freedomslips.org. There's a whole bunch of ways of connecting to the station. And when you're here, your family, your friends, first you become our friend and then you become family. Because you don't want to be mind raped like they try to do on mainstream. And they constantly taking us down that damn year of the rabbit, which is the Chinese New Year this year. And they're saying that the 2023 is just the beginning of what they're starting to roll out unto all of us. So if you happen to find yourself here, you find yourself to the number one station in the land that awakens you to your timeline of what the hell is going on here. And I have to say, welcome, Darren, to the 2Feathers, the Cognitive Reality Show with 2Feathers and Sergeant Miller. Welcome,
Hey,
my
thanks.
friend. It's good.
Thanks for having me, brother. It's good to hear from you, man.
Oh, you too. Man, I'm glad that you wanted to connect, and it's good to hear your voice and know that you're doing all right up there. What state you in?
Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. So you pretty much how's the weather up that way?
It's been really nice, man. Spring's in the air. It's been mild and just a little wet. The ground is wet, but that's good for this time of year. We need that.
Right on.
Yeah, man. I feel for the people down south because it seems like even going back a month or two, it's been kind of a active weather pattern through the Gulf states and to the south of me here.
Oh yeah. And you know what it is? It's just like like I was sharing with Sergeant Miller, and Sergeant Miller had a different opinion, and he's titled to his opinion that he was stating that they had these people with, the Wi-Fi's and electrical systems, and they were showing, like when they showed that area view of that Google Earth, and they expanded out to where you could see where that tornado went through that specific area. You could see how they drew a line at the top of the property of the area that it hit, where that thing went straight through that little mobile home area there. And at the bottom, they drew a line. They drew a line at the bottom of the property and at the top of the property. It didn't look very long. And I was like, boy, what a freaking shame, man. These people in mobile home, I mean, it flattened every single one of them. You couldn't even tell that it was a mobile home there. That's how disgusting it was, dude. I was like, man, the last source of living, of independent living these people tried to have, couldn't even have that. So, and then I was talking about this old Klausky Schwabe, and Yuval Harari. Who was the one that said you will own nothing and you will love it? Was that Klaus Schwab?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cotton
yeah.
Swab.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, just so happened to be reading about old Klaus Schwab. And he probably just don't like it. Well, you know what? We don't like it either. So this is why we have to call this stuff out. And at the beginning of this article, it talks about the globalists, for the people who like to be globalists. The polycrisis of doom is their own making. And it shows a picture, and I can share it with you and Sergeant Miller after the show. It shows the whole freaking land and the tree and everything. It looks like it's on fire, burning. Everything is burning. And it says that every single crisis is facing the world today has been orchestrated by the same global elitists who want to take over the world, says Klaus Schwab. That's his name, right? So the stakeholder capitalism, a model, he said he first proposed a half century ago. So positions private corporations as trustees of society. So you see, he's got the corporations as the trustees of society, of this beautiful capitalism, stakeholders, right? And it's clearly the best response to today's social and environmental challenges, right? The best response to today's social and environmental challenges. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that beautiful? How you like that in the taste buds? The world is apparently descending into chaos. And y'all want to comment on it, they just say, hold up a second or something like that, pause for a second or whatever. It says the world is apparently descending into chaos with events such as the recent collapse of SVB Bank, adding to the problems it says, added to the problems allegedly caused by the pseudo pandemic and the war in Ukraine, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. Only a few years ago, it was widely recognized by nearly every measure, and nearly every measure is in blue. Global life outcomes were all improving. It seemed like the earth was on a steady growth of improving, right? Which it seemed like that before we started up with this all this mishap with the voting systems. And now, we learn about, and we come to learn, of course we had the pandemic that, or the scamdemic, as many called it. And people awakened themselves to what was going on there. And then we found out that Ukraine had over 39 biolabs, and then the FTXs and all of that. It's just like everything just started falling into place of what the hell's going on here. So, you know what? They want to blame us for the evilness that they're bringing up on the land? No, we want a better life for society. And yet they won't stop engineering weather, and people keep on being mind raped by the masses. They can't wait to go sit in the stadiums and watch the next football kickoff. They won't awaken. I said last week, imagine tens of thousands of people going to trying to rebuild neighborhoods and fix up neighborhoods and build new housing and the wonderful world of Disney that we can have up on the planet Earth. But they want to control it all. And then we see what they do in the way that wake up. They want to control it all. They don't bring goodness. I know that. I don't know how much y'all might need to remove the coating on over your eyeballs. But I mean, you know, like the fish in the seas, I had that little skin that goes over their eyes. Yeah. Once we remove that little layer, then we can see what the hell's going on here, right? So by nearly every measure, which is in blue, says global life outcomes were all improving. Suddenly, we're all haunted by the spectres of conquest, war, famine, and death. Oh, there's that word death. You think? We got death in the air? Yeah, even death. It says, from the cost of living, inflation, hint, hint, the cost of living, energy, and food crisis to the threat of widening international conflict. Oh, you mean the Ukrainian excursion going on over there? Yeah, that could be called international conflict, couldn't it? And I just found out too, and I shared with Sergeant Miller, he might have saw it himself, that the USA said that that it probably wouldn't be able to solve that little conflict over there with the proxy, with just the West and what's going on with and also Ukraine. So just they said they might have to put the U.S. boots on the ground over there. So you see how better. Go ahead, sorry.
Shocker. Shocker.
Shocker. Yeah. Go ahead, Darren. You wanted to say something? Go ahead.
No, I'm in agreement. That's an inevitability. It's written in the tea leaves, man. It's going to be an all-out war.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when. I mean, most speculation says it'll be when the ground dries up, so they can get their tanks where they want them. But right now it's still wet season in Ukraine, and you can't really venture off the roads over there, or you get stuck.
Yeah, well, guess what? To that point of drying up over there, just heard that article that somebody posted in the chat earlier that the river Euphrates is drying up. And I know a little something about that. Oh, it was Matt Payne, I think. Matt Payne had shout out to Matt Payne and fam. Member of the management team here, Revolution Radio. And hope his wife is feeling a lot better these days. And it posted about the river Euphrates drying up, and I heard something a little bit better than that from the prophet that Sergeant Miller and I know about, that he had stated years ago about a little incident that might. That's why I'm trying to, and I hope that Painter keep us posted about that area, because I'm looking for something a little bit more than just the river Euphrates drying up, you know. And I tell you what, man, this is not good. And it says a climate disaster, now global financial collapse, which is in blue. We seem to be gripped by a global polycrisis. And that's also in blue, polycrisis. It says it may be a buzzword, but it could help us tackle the world's woes. That might be a little something good to get into. So it says if there is a polycrisis, it is entirely man-made. There you go. There's another man-made incident. But when we awaken ourselves to what the hell is going on in our timeline, you see? So we got another man-made incident, right? A polycrisis. It said if there is a polycrisis, it is entirely man-made. You see? It's only when. It's only when. Just like the scriptures say, only until the people that are called by my name cry out. You know, it's just like, will people awaken themselves, man? It's just like, is it getting any prettier? I can't see it getting any prettier, you know? This is all they're saying. If there's any polycrisis occurring, it's man-made. And the good news is we can build something better. Uh-oh. We can build something better. Kind of almost sounds like build back better, doesn't it? Oh boy, oh boy.
Well, let's say for instance the Bible's true. Okay, let's just like in a hypothetical situation, let's say that Scripture is true, and let's say also then perhaps we're in the period of time where the four horsemen of the apocalypse have been unleashed, and they're running. Okay. And those horses, what are those horses? One of them, his name is Death. And I think another one of the horses, his name is War. Okay. And I think another one of the horses is Pestilence, like sickness. I've got to open that book and refresh myself with what the four horses represent. But if these horses are running loose, that's what's to be expected. Death and war and pestilence, man, sickness. And what's that fourth horse? Well, I can't remember.
White horse.
The white horse.
Yes.
But yeah, that's my frame of mind is that we're in the apocalypse, that because so many people took that death shot, so many people took that potion over the last couple of years. So there's going to be all the ramifications of that's going to just completely awash modern civilization. Every nation on earth has been touched by the potion, by the popular potion that's been injected into our world, and there's no escaping that. There's no remedying that. That's a done deal. That's written in the stars, man. All the fallout from that injection is to be realized now. That's and this issue with 5G technology and its ability to interact with the conductivity that the shots have, that the shots enable within the human body. It's like a science fiction movie,
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And to be alive to witness this come to fruition is amazing.
It is. Yeah. And you know what else, Darren? The beautiful thing is we can come to realize and recognize when we think of the terminology of a snake eating its own tail. Because, and what I mean by that, let me describe what I mean by that. A short little description. That what happens is that the evilness that they try to bring upon us, that they don't realize it, and they're gonna come to realize it one day soon. And the more evil that they put up on this planet, which we call Earth, is the evil that's going to be turned right back around and coming to them. Just like when we think about the movie with Woody Harrelson that was just on a couple times, right? Those what they call them damn things, that the monster-looking things. It looks like they took the COVID shot. They took too many boosters. What those what they call them? They look like they all dried up mummies or whatever. They call those things. You know, the movie.
You're talking about the zombies, I think.
Zombies, yeah, the zombie movie. I couldn't think of zombies. The freaking zombie movie, yeah. You see, that's what's going to happen. The zombies are going to come upon them, and you can't shoot enough of them. That if they keep doing what they're doing, that the evil will be turned back onto them. And they're not realizing that that's exactly what's going to happen. That if you keep doing the evil, enough evil, that evil's going to turn on you. because evil comes calling. It wants something back. You see, we're like the Titanic. You know, this country and every other country around this world is like the Titanic. And if they don't turn this damn ship, just like when we think about old Putin, right? As Hijacker calls him, the great and mighty warrior of the mother Russia, Vladimir Putin, that he said that under the Wagner, which I'm not talking about the Wagner of the United States, the Wagner group of the United States. Well, Wagner over there means Wagner. He said that America, Britain, and Canada needs to be liberated. And he's damn right when he says something like that. But these soldiers of today are so freaking mind raped that they can't awaken themselves to realize that they part of the woke military. Go ahead.
You know, the Russians have been real proactive in that vaccine ID, digital tracking, digital vaccine passport jazz. They've been on the cutting edge of that. They've had greater compliance there and greater enforcement in Russia than they have in America. You know, we've got off easy compared to a lot of countries in terms of that totalitarian vaccine enforcement stuff. Russia's right there with all that stuff, man. They're not like fighting against it or pushing back on it. China too. China, the what do you call it? The social credit score stuff. The digital passport stuff. Russia and China are on board with that 100%, dude. They're not going to come in.
Me about Russia.
No, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. Russia's right there with all that business, man.
Well, you see, Jer Bear's, I don't know if you talked to Jer Bear, but his nephew lives over in that area, from what I heard.
Yeah, he took the shots.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Jason took the shots, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like, if it's mandatory, though, like, you have to take, you know what I'm saying?
He said he had to for his job. He said if he didn't do it, he couldn't have his job.
Hey, see, that sounds like some kind of tyrannistic freaking Marxist communism there, because I mean, dude, they're crazy. They out there. I know a lot of people be willing to stand up to stuff like that, man. I mean, these people just to bow down and take that jump and not realize. I guarantee you, man, they probably would have rebelled. You see, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of because what I had stated right here on Revolution Radio, a lot of individuals had left Russia because they didn't want to fight in this ongoing proxy that was, well, it was war to them. But this war that was occurring over there, and they didn't want no part of it. So there was so many leaving, over 1 million of them, that they had to close up the borders, you know? So, but a lot of people were still wanting to get out of that country. Now, I didn't hear anything in the wake of having to, in the wake of mandatorily having to, take the jab. I didn't hear anything about that. That's news to me. I mean, maybe you heard something, saw something. I don't know. Man, that would be mind blowing to me. I'm sure it would be to a lot of people listening right now, and maybe they have other news that would object to that view. What did you hear? Where did you get that type of information from? If you don't mind me asking.
I just heard. I heard that today or yesterday. Who was I listening to? It might have been the David Knight show. It could have been the David Knight show. I'm not remembering precisely. But I know that Russia is a part of this entire vaccine agenda, digital passport, and I think really the question is whose monetary system is going to be predominant when these things shake out. And it appears as though the Eastern powers are coming to prominence and the Western powers are being diminished. and that the dollar system is going by the wayside, and we're going to have this new power block comprised of it looks like the Chinese yuan will be the basis of it, and again,
bricks.
The bricks, and I see. I've always been into prophecy, 2Feathers. I've always been into it.
Me too.
And there's some I wouldn't call it disagreement, but there's people that speculate differently about Revelation 18 regarding the woman that rides the beast, Mystery Babylon.
Yeah.
And it talks about the nations are going to be disgusted with her, in a manner of speaking. They're going to want to destroy her, okay? Get rid of her, do away with her. It says she's going to be burned, all right? She's going to be destroyed. She's going to be burned. And she's referred to as the great harlot, and she rides the beast, okay? Now, my interpretation of that is that America, just to put it in short form, America is the harlot. She sits astride many waters, and she's described as she's known for her commerce. She's known for her trade and her commerce. And,
yeah, you have it halfway right. Now I'll explain. Go ahead. No, but you go ahead.
But it appears as though we're marked for destruction. The great whore that is America, that we're going to be devoured with fire. We're going to be consumed with fire. That's my take on it. Tell me where what my other half I'm not getting there, 2Feathers.
Okay. You said the buying it the Babylon, okay, which is the great deceit, right? Because I think the Bible talks about discern yourself, right? So like the being deceived and deceiving many, right? The devil is what he does, which is self in some ways, right? But you see, you talked about first in the beginning the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? Okay, which you have the horse, the black horse, the lady with the scales. Then she's blindfolded, like like our system of ways is being, the blindfold is being put on. Because like back in the old days, and let me continue though, it says that that raise the wheat and the barley a penny, but don't touch the oil or the wine. You notice how they're making, you notice your gas that went back up again? See, we can't touch the oil or the wine, but they can keep raising the prices of food. Wheat, raise the wheat a penny. And that's just giving you the sum of it all right? And that's they can keep raising the price. You go in the supermarket. I just spent $400 last night or the other night in the grocery store. That's a chunk out of my freaking check.
Well, you had to fill up that new freezer, man.
That thing's small, man. That thing's small. I didn't buy the bigger freezer, but you're right. I mean, but the thing is, and I barely even put anything in that. So my son, he's eating keto, so he eats a lot of vegetables and stuff, so he's eating in a different way than we are. So, we have to accommodate him. But, his stuff and my stuff, or the household stuff, you $400 easy. So they raised the wheat a penny, but we can't touch the oil of the wine, and they freaking raising that, much as they want. right? You know, just having their way with it, right? But then getting back to the white horse. Now, what is the Pope? The Pope rides the white limousine, right? He has the white ship when he rides downtown, wherever the place where the Catholic main house is over there. Uh, he sits inside of the wall. He's dressed in white. They talk about all of that. It's like he leads the pack, right? So we think all the way back to the Christian Crusaders, whenever they handed over to Charlemagne, and they put their money on the euro or whatever, right? They put Charlemagne on the euro, and the great and you hit the note right on the note when you said the whore, the beast, which is the whore, the harlot. Okay, now when you go and study that book that Sergeant Miller, you still on with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Book? Yeah, what is that book that the Vatican, that guy that wrote the Vatican? You remember that book, The Vatican?
Yeah, where he breaks down the families.
Well, where he talked about in that book, you see, and I'm gonna hit right here on a good note, Darren, that he said in that book, Malachi Martin. There you go, Malachi Martin. Look up the book, Darren. In that book, the Vatican, he states that the Catholic faith does not want to be known as any of the daughters. Okay, now what do I mean by the daughters? That's the religions. Okay, the religions are the daughters, and the Catholic faith does not want to be known as one of the daughters. They want to be known as the mother. And so that the Bible does call the Catholic faith the mother of all harlots. And you just mentioned the harlot. Right? So it wants to be known as the mother, and the scriptures do call it the mother of all harlots. So there you go. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah.
Okay. So if they're the mother of all they are the mother of all harlots, which is the religions, right? The daughters. Okay. So what is the one that serves the mother? Mother Mary. So they lead this whole thing. And if you go and look up the Chrislam Center that was just built this very year. Was it this year, Sergeant, or last year? The Chrislam Center. They just completed it this year, I think. Huh?
Yeah, I think it was over the summer, if I'm not mistaken. When they was pushing it.
Year.
Yeah, but I mean, that year, this year, it's still there.
It's there, Darren. You can look it up yourself. The Chrislam Center. You see, and it's funny that they call it Abrahamic, center or whatever. Yeah. Why would they put the name Abraham even in their speech? You see how they're deceiving you? Yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
When the Pope and the Ayatollah had their meeting.
There you go. The Pope and the Ayatollah. Go ahead, Darren.
But I know I've heard you refer to, or I've heard somebody refer to on here. It might have been that guy hijacker referred to Dmitry Duduman.
Okay.
And Dmitry Duduman came here prophesying the destruction of a lot of our major cities at the hands of Russia. He was big in the 80s. I think he died in the 1990s, Dmitry Duduman, but he talked about the destruction of America. And like if you look in the book of Daniel, Daniel was confounded by these beasts of his vision. He didn't know what it meant or how to interpret it. And the angel told Daniel, these beasts are governments. These beasts represent governments. And when you consider the harlot that rides the beast, this beast has several heads, okay?
Yes.
So that could be several kingdoms, if you will, several different governments across the earth.
Yes.
And what nation has manipulated the governments of the earth, particularly since World War II, post World War II? What body has manipulated the entire world financially? I mean, when we signed our peace treaty with Japan, one of the stipulations there was they had to allow women to vote in Japan because women were not allowed to vote. Things like abortion, women's rights, homosexual marriage, drug use. We've exported all of these things all over the globe. Promiscuity, we've cultivated and nurtured and exported all of these things to all the corners of the earth that they find their origin. And we've marketed this stuff. This comes from America. So much of this what's happened to the entire globe culturally. This slip away from convention and tradition. And a lot of nations are resisting that. But to this day, a lot of nations don't want to see men getting married to each other, and they don't want the women having abortions, and they're trying to put a stop to drug use. So a lot of nations don't appreciate Western influence in their culture, and that I think that's why ultimately we'll have to go up in a ball of flame. They're just tired of this manipulation, this sick manipulation that is being derived of the Western society, man. But it's just one guy's take on it. It's just.
Yeah, let me say this. What is the one place that had their own bank? The one place that had their own bank, the Vatican. They walk across the street to their own bank. You see? And then that thing you talk about, the woman, the beast system is the buying and the selling. You just said it a while ago about the the trading and all of that. That's what the beast system is. The buying and the selling. Now, we're coming up on this thing with the Fed now that you might, if you listen to Deacon John on Liberation Nation at 4 o'clock Central, 5 Eastern, you'll hear Dude Guy, shout out to Dude Guy Deacon, that, you'll hear him talk about that Fed now. Fed now is the first implementation, or implement, how you said, implement, how you said, implication. Okay, implication of it's the first beginning, the prerequisite, right, to this CD, what do you call it, central bank digital currency, CBDCs, right? So this is what they trying to implement, and here we are, because I thought about something yesterday, that they have corrupted this system so bad that it's almost like when you become mind raped, that you come to figure out that not even our own governmental body, because our own Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, has put it across that in Senator Kennedy called her out on it the other day, that they had a clip right here in our own chat room, right? He called her out on it, that they have no control over the spending, probably because you freaking sending all that money to Ukraine. You see, they're spending so much damn money over there, they don't know how much money they freaking spend. So they don't have no control over it. So what happened? Now you got to have the freaking CBDCs come in, but boy, they're going to send in the Fed down first. You see, and they're going to get the figureheads to fool with it and finagle it and perfect it, right? So they can get it all, and then they see that it works, and then they'll just implement it up on us. Because you see, they can't get control of spending. You see, they steal it. And the FTCs or whatever over there in Ukraine proved it. Okay, for the people that don't want to be asleep at the wheel, they come to realize, listen to the Revolution Radio, that in the way of FTXs, the FTX cryptocurrency manipulation over there in Ukraine, that was the money was sent back to the United States to jack up the Democratic Party. You see, in the wake of a crypto. So that's the way that they had to do it. So it was all like washed under the rug. But just like our friend here, Why Not on the station here, the Why Not Roundtable, shout out to Why Not, that he says there's so much under the rug, there's no more room under the rug. You see? There's no more room. So these people, they keep trying to, so you need almost like a international monetary currency to be able to come in and wake. And then you know what's the beautiful thing about it all? They say that the man of sin would come out of the kings of the east. Speaking of Bible prophecy that we all, you and I, Sergeant Miller, so love, you know? So if you're awake to prophecy, they say the man of sin would come out of the kings of the east. So for people that want to know, and it's just awful funny how OG Ping has to be sitting kind of high on the hill with all of this in the wake of the buying and the selling. We send a lot of our manufacturing over there to China. Yeah, it comes back. And, you know, everything you buy in Walmart is made in China. Just about every damn thing you buy is made in China. When you go to the 99-cent store, that stuff's made in Taiwan, right? And then you go and buy the cars, your motor's made in Japan. So the only thing left made good in America is prostitute, alcohol, drugs. There you go. Oh man, you gotta, and we got a city resident who likes chocolate chip ice cream when there's a crisis going on in America. So there you go. Did I just put the icing on the cake? Yes, I did. And any poly crisis that happens, you gotta, it's entirely man-made. And the good news is we can build something better if we have the will. Yeah. How many people have the will? They so freaking tired of the big capital BS, they probably got barely little will left. So they come listen to Revolution Radio and they awaken themselves to the timeline they're in, and they get re-pumped back up with some will. Oh boy. It says hang on one second. It says we are many and we are powerful. Yeah. Well, I tell you, that still has to remain to be seen. While those who seek to exploit crisis to control us are neither, right? They're not powerful, right? And they're not the many. So we just need to understand the problem. One trust in authority. Our trust in authority. We just need to understand the problem. Our trust in authority. There you go. So don't we our trust in authority, I think that's played out, don't y'all say? I think our trust in authority is played out. I mean, these people have lost their way, man. And then I tell you, just like 2Feathers has said it stately right here on Revolution Radio, that until they do right by the bottom feeders, useless eaters, you know, we're probably not going to have a very good country. Or we'll have a sitting resident that loves freaking chocolate chip ice cream. Hooray! Yeah!
Yeah, they've
Right.
pretty effectively centralized power. I mean, when you think about food production, food distribution, housing, uh, small business versus corporations, uh, monopolies have really taken over uh,
Uh-huh.
in my country, in
That's
this
right.
country,
That's right.
and they've developed a dependent people, a dependent type transaction where people are less self-reliant and more wholly reliant on their governance to live from day to day. When I was a kid, things were a lot more dispersed. People were more independent,
Mhm.
but we've become more so a people of dependence in modern society. We're not what we once were, and we've been cultivated to that. This has been the design that they've erected. This is all social engineering, and it's gotten us to this point where people will comply because they don't know what else to do, because they don't have the means. They're so reliant on their governance now. They're so plugged into the all-powerful governance that they don't see any way out. That's why a lot of people will bend over for this.
Right. And what it is too, Darren, and I have to say it right here. It's only when I would take that with a grain of salt, because I have to say this, that when I begin this thing and I tell you that what's truly going on here, and I think that our original Declaration of Independence, right, it talks about how that original 13th Amendment, right, a Constitution, states that it puts the corporations make slaves out of the workers. But we get old beautiful Klaus Schwab says we're just gonna call it stakeholder capitalism, right? And he says he positions private corporations as trustees of society, and is clearly the best response to today's social and environmental changes. So you see that goes in hand with the original Constitution, right? So that's what you have to realize, that they're the best. These what do you call them? Stakeholder what? Stakeholder capitalism. Yeah, they put these corporations in the powerful hand of these us bottom feeders, useless eaters, slave people, if you will. Yeah, you see, that's it's not really when you awaken yourself to the reality of what I just said, and with the original Constitution that I heard that Abraham Lincoln had removed because he was a lawyer himself, is what I heard. I think I might have heard that in the past, you know, because they wanted to put the corporations, and then we got the maritime law that comes across the waterways and has rulership over its people, right? So we got all of this taking over the straw man, huh? And making us all slaves. We're all slaves now,
I mean,
and then, but
that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun.
that's
You know,
right.
this is just serfdom. This is just sharecropping. This is the same old sold my soul to the company store.
Yes,
You'll own nothing and be happy. You know what I mean? You'll be
love
a
it. I love
you'll be a good sharecropper. You'll be a good serf. And
it. And you know
but it's
what my book says? You know what that good old wonderful book that nobody gives any validation to? Guess what my book says? It's all corrupt from the White House to the outhouse. There you go. Blew the top off. The freaking all the way to the freaking stinking ass outhouse. And you know what? The people need to waken themselves up to that realization right there. And just like you just said, adding to what you just said, there's nothing new under the sun, my brother. And guess what? It's all beautiful. They just don't know that this. Look, dude, you cannot bring evil so strong enough that we're not gonna overcome. For the people that walk with the great and mighty King, and it ain't no Vladimir Putin. I guarantee you that, because even he will die. And if he's not bringing a beautification up on this earth unto the people of his country, you know what? He will meet his maker. And just like we all will. That's why I use the power of this microphone, dude, to bring a beautification so strong that it needs to be amplified on the highest tower. Because I ain't looking, dude, I ain't pulling no straws here for these people, man. These people have caused an evil upon this land that the evil must go. And I'm here to sink the evil. And I'm not gonna look, bro. I mean, too many people are dying, man. People are losing their lives because of the evilness. And what it said, Sarge, that for evil to keep existing, all it is for a good man to stand by and do nothing, huh? Is that what it says? Huh? Huh? Did I get, is everybody still with me? Yep, they sure are. So, you know what? You got to choose this day whom you're going to serve. You can't serve two masters. And that's why the scriptures also say, believe in your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength. You know, these people are crazy, man. Klaus Schwab done lost his damn mind. I don't know who he thinks he is, or Yuval Noah, wherever the hell he come from, Harari. You know, these people have lost their damn sick-ass minds, man. They think
Well,
he's some kind of god.
you know, their logic is working. I mean, if you can, if you remember in Proverbs, it talks about how a borrower is a slave to the lender. Okay, if you're indebted, you put yourself in subjugation to the one you've borrowed from, and a lot of people live on debt. They've kind of given over their sovereignty to the one they.
Help it, you know, they can't help it. It's just like, well, I'm just talking about like if you're poor. If you're poor, it's almost like you can't help it because they haven't created a system to where you could climb up out of this stuff. If you can get any kind of credit, of course you're going to be in debt to the lender.
But we've done it. We've done it with nations. We've done it with the IMF, man, with the International Monetary Fund. We'll give these loans to third world nations, and then we own them. Then we own them, man. Once we get them on the hook through the IMF, once they take our loans, man, we got them, you know. And we've used that biblical principle that the borrower is slave to the lender, or they've used it. These power brokers have used that principle to their advantage, and it's been effective. Now people have given over their sovereignty, man. They assumed the role of serfs. They've assumed the role of sharecroppers through their indebtedness. You know, all over the world, this has happened.
Right. And I just want to let people know that I know that you know, it's coming up the top of the hour, and if anyone that might be a host on Revolution Radio, if they want to serve it, just send me a message, you know, or call into the show or whatever, and then I'll just drop the server. But if not, we'll be back on the other side of the break, and we'll come up and continue this on, man, because I'm hoping that people are listening and want to hear more of this stuff, because hey, it's all beautiful. You're listening to the Cognitive Reality Show with our special guest. Darren's in the house, Illinois. Stay tuned. Sergeant Miller's over there somewhere hiding behind one of them trailers. Maybe taking a number one. We'll be right back.
to Revolution Radio.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mystery, real natural law? Do you enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's Thinking. Welcome to the Crypt.
I am Bill Johnson. Some consider my efforts to be an underground law school. I am not an attorney, and I do not give legal advice. I teach. That's lawful and legal. Consider yourself served. You are to appear Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, Studio A. My forte? Foreclosure and contract law. Grab your legal pad and pen. Learn a broad spectrum of law spanning administrative, criminal, family, tort, and federal law. Fools and losers cling to old cases. I dissect and comment on the latest rulings that control the courts. Don't be a loser. And if you don't appear, you will be held in contempt.
Hi, this is Robert Stanley. I'm the host of the Unicus Report, where we explore enigmatic events taking place both on and off this world. Please join me Mondays from noon till 2 p.m. Eastern on Revolution Radio, Freedom's Lips.
Alert, listen up now. Tune into Return Order with Retro 0XE09173. We talk about decentralization and bank annihilation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Moneycoin, your coin, blockchain, baby. Mondays at 1600 hours Eastern, Studio A.
Deep understanding must arise during these times of unparalleled deceit. A view into the depths of society upon which this country has fallen, a storm brews upon the horizon. It's been said that those that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear will play a paramount role in the furthering of humanity and civilized society. But can civilized society and humanity survive the coming conflicts not seen since a dawn of time in ages bypast? But you can find true forms of information and knowledge in abundance at revolution.radio, freedomslips.com. The #1 listener-supported radio station on the globe. Stand upon the right side of history.
General Homer, you've got to get us out of here now! I won't let you down. I won't let you down, son.
Revolution. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nighthawk. What a fine, beautiful, wonderful human being.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
What the heck is the truth, Jihad? Hey, I'm Kevin Barrett, host of Truth Jihad Radio. Federal prosecutors, Department of Homeland Security agents, and curious passersby often ask me, just what is this truth jihad thing anyway? Well, everybody knows what truth is, but jihad is a misunderstood term. Jihad means effort or struggle. The greater jihad is the struggle to be a better person, while the lesser jihad is the struggle to defend the community. Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, did say that the best jihad is a word of truth flung in the face of a tyrant. And that's what we do here at Truth Jihad Radio. Every Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 7 Pacific, right here on Revolution Radio.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mystery, real natural law? You enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's High Thinking. Welcome to the Crypt.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. If you plan to call in and speak with one of our hosts, please turn down your radio and separate yourself from any background noise and wait for the area code to be called on before you speak. And don't forget, Revolution Radio freedomslips.com is listener supported. So stop by the homepage, freedomslips.com, visit the site support area to help support the host you're listening to's airtime. Thank you. Revolution Radio freedomslips.com, where the truth never sleeps.
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look! Just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. A black knight always triumphs.
Welcome one, welcome all, and it is that time for Roundtable Live here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be rolling on until 4 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. New ideas, different hosts every night, different subjects every night. You never know what's going to happen right here at the Roundtable Live. King Arthur has nothing on us. We're going round and round.
Well, I think we might have made it back on an extended version of the break. I think we might be back. Are you still with me, Darren?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that was the extra extended version of our archives. That Revolution Radio, if you go to www.revolution.radio or freedomslips.net or freedomslips.org, you might can find those commercials with all those extended versions. Oh, that was fun. Oh man, I tell you, welcome back. You listen to the extended version of the Cognitive Reality Show with Sergeant Miller and I and Darren, special guest, decided to join us, and I'm glad to have him. And yeah, he can come back next week if you like to. Huh?
All depends if I'm awake or not.
It depends on if you're awake.
Yeah, they're easing me back into full-time work, and so my sleep schedule. I work for a landscaping company.
Okay. How's that going? Doing pretty good?
Yeah, it's still drying up. We still, we're weather dependent, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just kind of kicking off. It's not into like full steam yet,
Yeah. Oh, that's nice, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hey, just take things slow, just like I was telling one of my supervisors that because he was telling me that my coworker was going to be a little bit longer. Coming in, and I told him it's the life of a trucker. One thing that we all have to learn out here is to be patient, right? So, Aussie Paul, you got to stand by, my friend. Aussie was wanting to call, man. I'm trying to stay on track with this article and what we're trying to speak about, and in the wake of what the hell is going on here, right?
Yeah,
and,
being in the midst of the apocalypse, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the serious stuff, man, that these people are bringing up on us. And we were just talking about this globalist polycrisis of doom is of their own making. And we're having all of these, and they said that anything that might be polycrisis is something that is man, and they got to give a little definition of a polycrisis in hell. It doesn't sound too good if it's man-made, just like a lot of these man-made activities that they're doing up on us, right?
Well, Sergeant was making reference to Sarge was making reference to Thor's hammer, and they've got some heavy tools to work with these days. They've got some means at their disposal where which they can manipulate people pretty effectively. And the reins that they've put on people have aided and abetted in their own enslavement. That they've been willing participants in this enslavement of themselves. So many of the peoples of the earth. That there's other scripture that talks to the sea and the waves roaring. Okay, in the end times, the sea and the waves roaring, and a lot of the biblical scholars say that refers to peoples, the sea and the waves. And if you look at Israel and France and Germany and Italy and Kenya and just really all over the world right now, people are taken to the streets in chaos, flipping cars, burning buildings, man. The sea and the waves roaring, man. People are getting what do you call it? Worked up over things. Things are getting people worked up. Seeing the waves roaring, man.
Yes. That's what it is, man. People are disgusted by their system of ways. You got where was that, France or whatever? They raised the retirement age. You know, these people they get fed up with the ways of their political systems, that they're not making their lives any better. Uh, you know, just like the corporations, just like I was just stating the thing about the corporations. You got the Soros group, right? George Soros has a big hand in Antifa and the activities and the havocs that they cause. And then you got our own freaking CIA agents, informants saying, let's go rush the Capitol. You know, you got all these activities of these, it's supposed to be political figureheads. You know, that's what I call them. You know, that's supposed to be making it, and it's just like they're not doing anything that in the wake of, we supposed to be so far in advance of the betterment of society. And they continue to take us down this road and this path that you know, I'm pretty sure that a lot of us in the wake of our day to day of just trying to build on something, you know, that we can just attach ourselves to, that brings a betterment of our lives, you know, and it's just like they're trying to even disrupt that. And it's just like we're saying, hell no. Why do you think you got these people that are acting out? Because, hey, when enough is enough, then you know what? They tear the walls down. Just like the walls of Jericho. You know, God told them to circle around the walls of Jericho after the 10th time or whatever and yell out. You know, yell out. And the walls will come tumbling down. What they say, the house divided will not stand. Well, hell, can you blame them for people that are they just so fed up with the corruption? You know, that in the wake of all of what's going on, that the best that they can do for our states is build more jails. You know, are you freaking kidding me? You know, this is the best that these people can do. Well, it seems like we need a new system. And I'm not talking about an international monetary system. I'm just talking about if they feel like that they can't create a type of system, then maybe they need to let us take over and we'll create the system that needs to be put in place. And we can say that because I'm driving over an interstate system right now that looks like it could be upbrung in the town that I speak about all the time or from time to time. It looks like it hasn't been upgraded in probably over 120 years. You know, it's just what I'm saying, that we haven't had a system that's been upgraded for the people. And that's what it is. They won't upgrade the people. And we need an upgraded from the people. And then I think the people would could live a better life. They would improve their lifestyles, and they would build a better lifestyles if they could have a system that would work for them, even within the corporations. But we can't have a Klaus Schwab said that they call it this phony capitalism system that they have, which the trickle down economics, as they call it, right? Which has never worked. You know, they've always had that trickle down economics, and it hasn't worked for the people at the bottom, because by the time it gets down to the bottom, you don't feel like you're getting the bottom of the box of a box of raisins. You know, you're getting a few raisins at the bottom. There's only a few left. And it shouldn't feel like that. You know, you shouldn't have a damn system like that. You know, why not build from the bottom up? And then let the people freaking decide what they do. And we come to find out that the Democratic Party wanted to control all of this because they wanted to control people's paychecks. You see, this is what this was all about. that people hadn't awakened themselves to. So we was reading about this system of ways that these people, they call it this poly crisis, right? Of doom. The poly crisis of doom is of their own making. And it says the alleged poly crisis, the world's economy and its society were not thrown into disarray by a pandemic disease, quote unquote, but rather by a global policy response, right, to an alleged pandemic disease. And similarly, the war in Ukraine isn't causing a complete realignment of the international monetary, see, and financial system, or the IMFs. There are quote unquote regionalization of supply chains and energy crisis are giving rise to a multipolar world order. And the multipolar world order is in blue. And, you know, it got to accept the cookies or whatever. But it says once again, it is the sanctions and the geopolitical policy response, right? Because didn't they cause a sanction up on Russia? And it all began of this proxy that they causing over there? Or they caused, may I say? And the geopolitical policy response to the war that is throwing the planet and all of us deeper into turmoil. Let's see. Yeah.
Well,
From
if
their
you
policy response. Go ahead.
if you look at energy policy internationally, and the when it was at the Paris Accords, where
yes,
they want to shut the energy off to the United States and Western nations, and they want to let India and China
and Iran.
They want to let these developing countries use energy as much to any degree they choose or wish or can. We're being diminished. We're being taken out of the equation. The once great power that was the United States is being turned off, man. It's being unplugged.
Yeah.
You can't sustain a modern economy without energy. Energy equates economy in modern times. That's how that functions. That's how that plays out. And when you hear about coal plants getting shut down in America and turning off nuclear plants and shit, we've nearly depleted our strategic oil reserve over the last year and a half. You know, we are gutting ourselves. If you take energy away from the United States, you know, we're going to be nothing economically on the world stage.
Yeah.
But you look out over the other nations of the earth. They've chosen the winners in this game, and they're not us here in the States.
Oh. I'll tell you why, Darren. That's a good analysis that you bring up, because just as Trump, and Sergeant Miller will contest to this too, that just like Trump went into the Chinese parliament, you know, he told them that what happened, and it made us all freaking realize that what has taken place here is that we have given over free trade to China. You see, and we got a sitting resident up there in DC right now that's all pro-China. So you see what's happening here. We had people that didn't feel two whims or give two whims of going and turning over our country to Chinese manufacturing. And we got people here that are supposedly supposed to be these masterminds, which we saw their mastermind at work whenever they let the bridges collapse in Minnesota and in California. They look like some masterminds. Couldn't even build a freaking bridge that wouldn't collapse. You know. But they supposed to be masterminds, and you mean to tell me they couldn't build a freaking clean manufacturing here in the United States? No, because they had to send it all over there to manufacture to China. But you see, Trump grew a set of brass balls and told the Chinese under the previous administration he understood that he would give away free trade to China. But he all had to end today, the day that he stood inside of that Chinese parliament, because he was ready to bring that money back to home. You see? But yet you had all these people calling him a white nationalist and all that. He had black voters and people of different nationalities that were willing to vote for him because he was trying to bring the manufacturing back home or exporting that freaking oil off to these other countries. And I got an uncle, and shout out to him at 602, that one of his sons works for one of the top-notch oil refineries, oil companies, right? And he said that we have oil to no end right under our feet. We have oil to no freaking end right here in this country. So what does that tell you? That we should be doing in the wake of, but it's greenhouse gases that's why you had Biden come in and cut it off. He shut off the spigots. Well, hell, we can also create other manufacturing companies right here in the United States, which they got those WeatherTech mats that you put in your car and all of that. They are USA made in company right here in the United States. WeatherTech. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but that's a USA freaking made company right here in the United States, manufacturing company. They produce their products right here in the United States. So if they can do it, many other companies can do it as well. So, that's the thing. You see, America wants to think that everybody's they call us our green footprint, right? That us bottom feeders, useless eaters, and they the ones sitting there doing all the damn consuming. You look at Jay Leno, had a 4-car garage with 50 cars in it. How the hell he's going to drive 50 cars? You don't think those cars freaking consume energy? Hell, we're lucky to have 2 cars in the freaking driveway. Yeah. But they throwing the planet and all of us deeper into turmoil, right? That's what they're doing. They bring sanctions upon the proxy over there in Ukraine, upon Russia. I'm telling you, man, my mom always was right when she said it's all going to come out in the wash. And it is. One way or the damn other, all of this is going to come out in the wash. I guarantee you. And it says, and I'm looking for a lot of things to occur. So there is no doubt that international chaos is the result of the deliberate actions to exactly what you just said, Darren, that the disruption that has occurred and minimized America, that we've created international chaos all around the world. And I brought it right here on the Revolution Radio of that Chinese ordeal that they presented that America's always brought. And no discredit to Deacon John, because he was saying that a lot of these other countries had brought some chaos as well to these smaller countries that surround them. So, but America has brought a lot of international chaos up on the world stage, which has hurt us in the long run, because we have always been known as the bully. And now they resetting the freaking bricks and wanting to do away with the dollar, right? As as being the petrodollar. And then when they do that, it hurts America, you see? Instead of us creating a way that we, they should have, what America should have did? The same thing that the Chinese did. They should have sit back and wait for these countries to ask for our help. That's the first time I'm ever saying that. right here on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.net, freedomslips.org. That's the first time I'm ever saying that. America, just like they say the Iraq called us in to restabilize their country because they wanted to have a hospitality country, you know, because you can't have, you know, this type of mafia type of operation, which America tries to find themselves into, right? We had a Bonnie and Clyde at one time here in the United States. That's all mafia type of operations, and you can't have that type of operation as a you know, as a system of ways, man. You got to have an operation of some stability in your country and a fair gameplay on a chessboard to play with these other countries to where you can have a fair trade deal, not a free trade where they get free trade and we get unfair trade. You can't have a system of ways like that in these international countries. So that's why you had Trump stating in the way that he stated that it all had to end, and we had to bring that money back home to the farmers in the wake of $358 billion. You know? But I mean, hell, share some of that with the freaking the bottom 47% of your damn country too, Trump. You know, the workers. How about the workers? Where's the workers' bill at in the freaking wake of government? Right? DC. Where's the workers' bill? Where the workers get to share in some of this profit of the all expiration, you know, or what have you. Somewhere the workers are the freaking profit, in my damn opinion. Hell,
But you know,
lower prices now ain't gonna help a hill of beans of nothing. Go ahead.
you've heard of Agenda 2020 and Agenda 2030. You've heard of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And the gist of that is to bring a level standard across the breadth of the world, an international standard of living, in a sense. And that doesn't entail lifting the world up to America's standard. That entails bringing America down. That's what that suggests. They're not going to bring everybody up to this great middle classdom that America was known for. We need to be diminished to create a level field of play.
Well, guess what? We're not going to go silently in the night. I just want them to know that if the military's listening, or Klaus Schwab, or Yuval Noah, No Good, or Rari, I don't give a damn who they are. We're not just going to go sit in the corner and suck on a lollipop. That's not going to happen, because we're going to have a say in our republic, is what we call it, what they call democracy. Huh? Yeah, don't you just love them hearing that? They need to bring democracy. Huh? That's what they love. They love that damn democracy. You know what that democracy is? That's buying and selling. They want you to be calm, have a peaceful system so they can build back better. Even if they got to tear it down, they want to build it back better. You know, hopefully, what about the people that lived in those mobile homes? I'd love to know how many of them had insurance. Probably damn near none of them. You know, could they have afford insurance? Maybe they did. But what about all their freaking their sentimental valued you know, their sentimental stuff that they might have got from their grandmother or something like that? People living at the bottom of the food chain, man, trying to come up, make a way out of no way. And they lost it all. You know? I mean, this is sad, man. This is a sad time in history. And then we're watching them burn it all up. You know, tearing it up. You know what? In my eyes, this is just beautification, man. This is beautification, one way or the damn other. This thing, that's why you go back to them good old scriptures, Darren, and the great and mighty King, Up in the high heavens, he said, I am the Alpha, which is the beginning, and I am the Omega, which is the end. So at the end of the very end of the end, it's him. It's him. It's going to be the Almighty Yahweh, Christ himself, right? Emmanuel. What a beautiful name, you know? And you know what? These people continue to do what they do, and that's why we're going to continue to do what we do right here on Revolution Radio, baby. We're going to bring this message so powerful that not even a giant would be able to stand against it. It said, no weapons that form against me shall prosper. That's what it is. No matter how big the weapons they bring, we will overcome because it's the way it has to be. And we will not be shaken. We will not, because we stand on solid and sound foundation that won't be moved. It won't be moved. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell them. I don't give a damn. You know, it said there's no doubt that international chaos is the result of the deliberate actions of policymakers. Oh, that's beautiful right there. International chaos is the result of the deliberate actions of policymakers. Right there. Deliberate actions of policymakers. They're making policy all across this damn land. Does it seem like it's better in your life, Darren? Sergeant Miller? Anybody? It doesn't to me. All it seems like to me is they're bringing nothing but chaos, as this article states, right? And internationally, look what they're doing over there in Ukraine. You know, they just bringing more machinery. They bringing them high Mars missiles. Is that beautiful enough for your vision? Can you see me? Am I clear to you, Tupac?
Yeah, it seems like getting back to like prophecy. It seems like at some point when chaos has reached a fever pitch and there's desperation throughout mankind, that perhaps an antichrist figure will appear on the scene. Somebody who makes a lot of sense, somebody who talks sense, somebody who seems to have solutions to these vexing issues. Somebody who, when he speaks, the people will say, well, amen. Now here's somebody who gets it. Here's somebody who understands. It seems at some point, biblically speaking, prophetically, when the people are at their wits' end, this figure will emerge, this leader, this man with answers, this man with solutions.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that's Trump. But then he said he would make fire. Didn't he say he would make fire come down from out of the heavens?
Well, he's talking about 15-minute cities. Recently, he's been advocating these 15-minute cities. These.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. They had a guy yesterday in Mechanic had brought it up that this guy brought this it looked like a guy from he was a Alaskan Eskimo or something. He brought him in and they was doing like a little report. And this guy, this American, this old man, he says, I'll show you what 15-minute cities, for example, looks like. They brought him in a chicken coop. And first he opened up the door and he said, the chickens are not going. You notice the chickens are not going anywhere, right? He said, let me show you their meaning of a 15-minute city. He said, do you see what's in here? They got warm. They got a place to lay the eggs. He says, and guess what? He said, they won't even go out the door. He said, because they're comfortable. And he said, then guess what? I get to reap the rewards of what they're producing. So they produce and I reap the rewards. So like I am their king. You know, I give them warmth. I give them fresh hay and I feed them. So why do they need to go anywhere? I was like, damn, boy, that's a perfect example of 15-minute cities. There you go. To your point. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they're building these cities like this. And you see, that's what makes me align myself into this weather manipulation and engineering that they're doing so they can try to move these people into rental apartments, maybe 15-minute cities, if you will. And we'll just control the rent. We'll give them food, maybe a monthly check or whatever, you know. And if they, we could give them CBDCs. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And if they don't get in line with their carbon footprint, let's just cut them off. But just tell them that the power went down and we just can't get everybody's, and then they'll just pick you, you know. They'll just pick you out of the group and then you can be the only one, but then they don't think that you'll talk to your neighbor and think that, hey, they ain't no telling which way these people might turn this freaking boat, man. But they want control. I know that. These people want all the damn control, right? So the only question is if chaos is intended over the outcome of, so the chaos is the intended outcome of their decisions. All of the evidence suggests that it is. How you love that. The deliberate actions of policymakers. So the only question is if the chaos is intended the outcome of their decisions. All of the evidence suggests that it is. Hang on, Aussie Pa, I'll bring in just a minute. So it says we can reasonably ask what purpose these so-called leaders. We can reasonably ask what purpose these so-called leaders serve. Right? Leaders, quote unquote. What purpose do they so-called these leaders serve? It seems that those we mistakenly trust to make decisions for us are either useless or mendacious, right? Yeah, they're useless. When we say today that they're useless, as pointed out, there is no honesty about the true nature of real global risk we face. The so-called World, quote-unquote, Economic Forum released its what's that? Farsi Cali? Or Farcicali? How you say that, Darren? Farcically. Farcicali?
Yeah, farcically.
Oh, farcically? Okay. Releases farcically named Global Risk Report 2023. And that's in blue. Man, I'm telling you, man, I might have to come back and visit some of this stuff written in blue. Man, look at that. The Global Risk Report 2023, 18 edition. Good Lord, man. It gives the contents, the preface, overview of methodology, executive summary. Cool, man. You ought to see the long article of this stuff. Oh, your Global Risk Report of 2023. Man, I tell you, man, this stuff is getting good, dude. It says in which it listed every single risk, and hold on, Aussie Paul, every single risk it could imagine apart from the banking and financial risk about which is supposedly, quote unquote, expert that really does threaten, and in blue it says to destabilize the planet, which is in blue. Oh, I tell you, man, this is some awesome freaking stuff. Was the collapse of SVB deliberately orchestrated? It says. All right, so to destabilize the planet, which is in blue, and then it goes on to say this risk too is entirely man-made and is the result of the monetary policies of, in blue, it says private central banks. And it goes on to say, notably the Fed and the Bank for International Settlement. The WEF, which describes itself as the international organization, and I quote, the International Organization for Public-Private Corporation, unquote, is among the stalwarts of, in blue, the establishment. That goes on to say, and I wanted to back up a minute to that public-private corporation, that the International Organization for Public-Private Corporation. New guy made a perfect example the other day that it's funny how the winning section of the gains of the bank, they turn into a private matter, right? But in the losses, they put into a public entity, right? They turn it into a public entity so that they keep on winning. You see how they do that? So the part that was the winners in the bank, they turn it into a private entity, right? So they can keep on winning with the earnings, and then it can, probably be a good standing on the stock market, right? But the part that failed, then they turn that into a public, and then there's no telling that how much of the FDIC stepped in, the Fed, which held that part up, right? So that's what I'm saying, that there's a two-part settlement right there. And then I heard that another bank came in and bought out, the part that probably went belly up, that the bad parts of it are took over the SVB bank, right? Institution. Probably bought the stock value for freaking pennies on a freaking dollar. Hell, who's to say that the Fed didn't even come in and just buy it up or whatever on pennies on a dollar, right? And prop it up. So that will never disclose the true risk, quote unquote, prattling on about the polycrisis, quote unquote, polycrisis. It wants us all to fear the WEF acting as a savior, offers this proposed solution to Darren's statement earlier, how they look toward the government, right, acting as a savior amongst to the people. Hold on, let me bring in Aussie for a second here. The Aussie one, he was calling in. Hold on. Hold on 1 second here. All right, let's see. Hold on. See what's on his mind. Right, I'll man you to the call. Just stand by when you come in. Just say something. And they said the sheer scale of humanitarian and environmental crisis showcased broader paralysis and ineffectiveness of key multilateral mechanisms in addressing crisis facing the global order, spiraling downwards into a self-perpetuating and compounding polycrisis. As a global risk become more intertwined, preparedness also needs to become more of a shared responsibility between sectors, with local and national governments, business, and civil society, each playing to their strengths rather than the traditional models of governments addressing market failure when they occur. For example, private-public partnership, which I had stated, can help close key gaps in innovation, financing, governance, and implementation of preparedness measures for emerging well-established risks. Most global risks are owned by no one and sit outside the direct control of any one public or private sector entity, meaning many global risks are mostly effective tackled through coordinated global action. Respondents to the GRPS, the WEF's own risk report, shared their views. The majority consider national governments, multi-country efforts, and international organizations to be the most relevant stakeholders for governing these global risks. Where the global Aussie didn't join? I don't see him. Paul, you got the thing, my friend. All you have to do is just sign yourself on the. Oh, what he said? It's Bill. Beat me in. I don't know why he said that. I don't know what he means by that, but anyway, unsurprisingly, perhaps the WEF has concluded that the polycrisis it has made up means that, quote, traditional models of government are no longer of any use. So you look at that, traditional models of government. You're right, Darren, in that sense. How they diminish the United States. And maybe they look at it as traditional models, of government that once worked, but it's not working anymore. So what makes them think that in the wake of this new brick system or whatever, right? That they wouldn't think that they're just sick of the old ways. It's just not working. And I'm not saying that we have to go into the wake of this Fed now and all of this CBDCs and all this stuff, but doggone it, man. We need something to happen in the wake of the people because, like I had stated on the show before, man, when you're a multi-billionaire, and Sergeant Miller even said it one time, that's something I had stated on the show, that these billionaires are paying let me restate that. These trillionaires are paying millions to protect their billions. So if you get that statement right there, that, dude, when you wake up with that type of wealth, dude, you're never in the history of your ancestors, your greatest grandchildren would never be in poverty. So the old system of propping up banks and billionaires and trillionaires, dude, this ain't working. And you could call it a traditional model. Whatever the hell you got to call it, it's not working. And as I stated earlier, that a house divided will not stand. And the scriptures say that they put money in bags with holes in it. So what does that mean? As the scripture states, that their gold and their silver is cankered. They telling you to buy gold and silver all the time. But the scriptures say that it's cankered. They'd be throwing it in the streets. Oh, man. And it's true. That what good? You can't eat gold and silver, but you can eat a pot of turnip greens. I guarantee you that. Just bring the cornbread. Oh, boy, that 2Feathers be making some sense, boy. Look at here. And I'm just saying that's what I'm saying, man. It's just like people don't want to come in my world. It gets beautiful. It gets beautiful in my world, folks. And y'all don't want to come in my world. Because in my world, everything changes. Everything changes. It all changes. And I'm not talking about no downward spiral. I'm talking going up, up, and up, and up, and up. You talking about a roller coaster ride? There ain't no down. It's all up. And it gets beautiful in my world. I tell you what, y'all don't want to be in my world because y'all don't want it bad enough. That's what it is. You don't want it bad enough. You gotta want it, people. Just like an alcoholic. whenever you want to quit drinking, what's the first thing you do? You got to recognize that you're an alcoholic. You see, when you do evil, the first thing you got to realize is you're doing evil. So the only way to do it is you got to flip a new leaf. You got to you got to go in the opposite direction. See, this is the only way you get the change that I'm speaking about. This is the only way it changes. Nah, people don't want it bad enough. Traditional models of government. It's not working, folks. And they are no longer of any use. There you go. Article states, and I'll state it many times over. It's no longer of any use. I don't give a damn if it's in the wake of a yuan. It don't matter what it is. Until everyone is served correctly, and we don't have to have a head, you know, because the head is already in the sky. You know, it's until we turn the system into a beautification system for everyone to enjoy. It's the only way that this thing is made whole. The old way of traditional models of government are no longer of any use. Instead, multilateral mechanisms via organizations like the UN and its various agencies such as the WHO, and the World Bank must hand global governance over to a global public-private partnership. G3P is in parentheses. Now, what does that mean? Global public-private partnership, which is in blue. Hold on a second. Let's see. Function.
Yeah, I'm back.
A public-private partnership. What is the global public-private partnership? You see, that's where all this stuff gets beautiful, man. It's a worldwide network of stakeholder capitalists. We already have that. Don't we have a network of stakeholder capitalists, the people who own all the wealth? They the stakeholders of capitalists that own the state. They the stakeholders and their partners. A collective of stakeholders, the capitalists and their partners, compromises global corporations, including central banks. As a damn central banks. Why they got to be a big part of philanthropic foundation, multi-billionaire philanthropists. Yeah, we still are waiting for them to make a move upon the workers, huh? Multi-billionaire philanthropists. Policy think tanks, where are they at? Yeah, they the think tank, these policy think tanks, boy, they showed us their finest. Their finest, huh? Policy think tanks, governments, and their agencies. Yeah. And we've seen what all that they can do, huh? Non-governmental organizations, selected academic and scientific institutions. Yeah. What they want to make some more bio labs and some jabs and some boosters. What they gonna come up, booster freaking times 10? You know? Yeah, scientific institutions. Yeah, we need more of those, don't we? Global charities. Yeah. How about some of that? A lot of that. Labor unions. Yeah, we need a lot of that. Because my company said that we'll never get rich working here. We need a lot of freaking something going on in the wake of workers and other chosen thought leaders. We are the other chosen thought leaders, huh? Oh, there's a commercial. Y'all want to come on back with me or what?
Hey, sure.
I'm here with you.
Yeah.
All right. Hang tight. We'll be back. Cognitive Reality Show, baby. Come on back for this good stuff. Are you looking for that good stuff?
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mystery, real natural law? You enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's Hybrid Thinking. Welcome to the Crypt.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for Free Association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. It's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
Enter into a world unseen on Raven Star's Witching Hour. You will encounter eclectic topics from the realm of spirit brought into our matrix of truth. With your host, the Solaris Blue Raven. Solaris will bring you an array of unique guests covering topics from ghostly spirits to amazing anomalies, covert technology, UFOs, and shadowy global events.
And that's right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, Saturdays, midnight till 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Let the magic rise.
Galactic Interstellar Council on Revolution Radio Studio A, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us as we traverse the starseed paradigm, as expressed in the time-space continuum that we know as the divine expression of love and light. Integrating this conscious unity into the galactic paradigm. So welcome all, both terrestrial beings and galactic beings as one. So be it. You're listening to Revolution Radio.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Any commercial advertising you may hear in this program is of the sole discretion and benefit of the host of whose program you are listening to. Revolution Radio does not endorse any commercial products, nor does it accept monetary compensation for on-air advertising of commercial products, nor will it ever. We are and shall remain 100% listener supported. Any product advertising on this program are considered used at higher risk, and Revolution Radio shall not be held liable for any claims or damages received from any product advertised within this program. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps. All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's 2Feathers, Sergeant Miller, and got a couple guests that came on the show. And also, Paul, if you would, just stand by for just a minute because I want to get your opinion, and I'll let you have the floor. And just let everybody know they're listening to the #1 listener supported station in the land. And we're 12 years, going on 13 years, all because of listeners. So if you love what you're hearing right now and you're awakened in your timeline and you love being awake in your timeline, this is the #1 station that needs to be supported. So we advise you to go and be a part of our station and help us uphold this station. Go over to www.revolution.radio, freedomslips.net, or freedomslips.org. And I wanted to share what this G3P individuals are that controls the global finance and the world's economy. And I want to get your opinion. Just hang tight. And I'm gonna let Aussie Paul speak about it first. Aussie Paul, listen carefully. The G3P controls global finance and the world's economy. It sets world, national, and local policy via global governance, and then promotes those policies using the mainstream media, which we all have, corporations, which are also partners with the G3P. Often, those policies are devised by the think tanks before being adopted by governments, which are also G3P partners, which I didn't know governments get behind this type of stuff, but of course they would. It says government is the process of transforming G3P global governance into hard policy, legislation, and law. All right, one more paragraph. Under our current model of Westphalian national sovereignty, the government of our nation cannot make legislation or law than another. However, through global governance, the G3P creates policy initiatives at the global level, which then cascade down to people in every nation. This typically occurs via an intermediary policy distributed such as the IMF, the IPCC, and the national government then enact the recommended policy. All right, Bob, go ahead. Welcome to the
Okay,
show.
now the funny, yes, hello all. Welcome, Sarge. Welcome. Oh, I'm sorry, I've missed his name. I think it's David. Aaron, sorry. Aaron.
No, Darren.
Yeah, and Sarge.
That's close enough,
And
man.
yourself. Yeah, well, it's okay. Sorry, Aaron. Yeah, I don't have any names there, so sorry. Anyway, 2Feathers. I do have. Well, we've got a perfectly good scenario for you over 30 to 35 years or whatnot in Northern Territory, Australia. You know, this secret signal space, you know, that the Americans run. Oh, I don't know what it's called. Was it Pine Gap? You know, that they stole from the Aboriginals and this and that, the other. And yes, the fun part about American politics is they're half right and they're half wrong all the time. That's because they're working on the same page, right? Now, not many people like Trump. You're dismissed, but he shook the cage, and that's what we have to do: shake the cage and get rid of these career politicians out of both Australia, New Zealand, America, and especially the UK. You know, that's all I've got to say on that one. Over.
Go ahead, Darren. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could think of something to say. I remember it's been several months ago. I was looking at things on the internet, and I watched an old interview with Donald Trump and Oprah Winfrey. And she asked Don Trump if he'd ever consider running for president. And he said, yeah, you know, I might consider it someday. She said, well, would you run as a Republican or Democrat? And he said, I'd probably run as a Republican. He said, I think those are the only people stupid enough to vote for me. And that's what the man said.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask your opinion about, what do you think about this global public-private partnership, or G3P? What do you think about that? Huh? Says the G3P thus affords global authority to banks, and other private corporations, which the WEF tells us will govern these global risks. What do y'all think?
Actually, I've got the best one for that because I've been listening on and hearing about that. Well, because they've taken out 10 or 20 year, for you not to bloody put up your rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is it was at 2%, and then went 4 to 6 to 8% over Biden's watch. Now, it would have been fine if it stayed at 2% and everyone would have been happy. But most of the globalists and this and that expressed for the smaller bankers and this and that to put them into long-term bonds, which what we're talking about, mind you, I'm a silly Aussie, right? And what happened with that, the bonds went exceeding over what they could place, or because, printing money is no situation. The funny part about that is we've got a funny one just a couple of days ago. This dude went prospecting and found a $250,000 rock full of gold, right? Quartz rock full of gold.
Yeah.
So anyway, I say if you don't know what you're thinking or doing, or, you need a little pastime or whatnot, get out and explore, Even if you don't explore, go fishing, sit down near a river, clear your head, especially from the mainstream media and silly people like me who listen, and yeah, it's quite amusing. I seen Donald Trump earlier today, right, going through what he would have done, and then we get Joe Biden, right, on the same scale, because I'm not biased. I hate everyone equally on that scale. Sorry. But it's quite amusing. From the outside looking in, like I've told you many, many years ago, it's just imploding. And what you have to do is, like I do, if they pick on you, even the police, bring them up and just give them grief. A couple of weeks, bring them up. Once a week, twice, once, twice a week, doesn't matter, just keep it up. They'll get really, really peeved, right? And they'll have to do their bloody job. Over.
So it says the good news for the WEF is that every one of its government partners agrees. For example, as acknowledged by Presidents Putin and Xi, the sides, Russian and Chinese governments call on all states to protect the United Nations, driven international architecture and the international law-based world order, seek genuine multipolarity with the United Nations and its Security Council playing a central and coordinated role. It says the G20.
Yeah, you understand, but do you understand what you're trying to read? I understand it's in print, and it's they're just trying to bring down Putin, and Putin's trying to bring down the corrupt system as well, right? And we're all pouring money into Ukraine that doesn't deserve it anyway. One of my friends before Nighthawk passed away, he went to Ukraine, had a baby, and he goes, it's the most corrupt joint in the bloody world, right? They stole half of it, well, 3/4. He was almost, really, really well off. And then come back in from Ukraine, they stole everything. So that's just, I prefer Aussie Cossack. Now, not many people know about Aussie Cossack, but he's actually in the Russian embassy because the police don't like his Russian, non-Ukraine war. Mate, We don't need to be in a world war and in Australia especially. We don't need to give almost $1 billion, right? That's just bloody blasphemy, right? You know, that could be better off in doing the infrastructure at home. And then they're sending our stuff away, our military stuff. Woo-hoo. And if you know me, I've been in the military, and my brother's in the military, my sister's in the bloody anyway. So we know all about government. So it's just rubbish. So if you don't open your eyes up, well, like Dave Corsair said, keep your head in the sand. And also, one of our lovely ladies, keep your head in the sand as well, because she followed Dave Corso. Yeah. From Revolution Radio. And yeah, it only costs $1 or $2 to put into Revolution Radio, especially if you're in America. $10 for us, especially for a vet. Oh, JB. Other than that, yeah, if you wish to keep this occupied idealism of truth all around the world, well, couple of shekels, couple of dollars, one coffee, just per week. Well, not per week, just one coffee worth every 2 months. And that will be sustainable for us to be on air. So, back to, sorry. Yes, Nighthawk created Revolution Radio. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Paul, for that. It says the G20 format as an important forum for discussing international economic cooperation. Now, let me ask y'all a question, a serious question. I have seen with my own eyes, okay, I'm not just going to throw it out there, that I've seen with my own eyes of all of these countries, they met at this central place, right? Because what has happened, okay, now this happened a few years back, that what happened was, I think they have all seen, you remember that little terminology that power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that little
that's correct.
terminology? Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
Go ahead, son.
No, yeah, that's I think that's Caesar. That's almost, you could describe Julius Caesar as that, as a template.
Well,
it was Socrates. It was Socrates that said, "Absolute power corrupts absolutely."
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you
he was the Greek. He was Greek. Yeah, but yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty right.
They all came together at this central place, and it was ginormous. And it had all of these freaking world leaders up in there, right? And what it was is they had this big, gigantic. This is at the beginning of all of that. Once that TARP bailout with Obama, all that corruption. They started them. Remember when Obama told Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers how that we got to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Well, this played all into that. I think each one of the country's leaders, per se, quote unquote, that they all figured out that all of that absolute power has corrupted them all. And they seen that they come to the final terms that they need a control system, is what probably brought them in the wake of this system of ways of gaining some type of control. Because if they're controlling the purse in each one of their own countries and they become corrupt, which is we have our legislative branch, judicial branch, and all of that, right? So we got all of these branches of government that's in each one of our system of ways in each of our countries, and they all become corrupt because they're the ones with the power, right? So if they're the ones with the power that and they're corrupt, they have to have some type of control mechanism that is being set in place to where, because what happens is the little people among them are being left out. And they're the ones with all the money and all the power, that they have corrupted the system so solely that the people don't even have a say in their own governmental system. So you see that they all had to meet at this one forum system that they all signed pledge to, that they had to come to a realization that they're all corrupted. See what I'm saying right there? That they had to get they got to get control of their habit forming, and now you can't have that when it comes to the United States. If you're funding a proxy war that doesn't even need to be taking place right now. You see? How can you ever want to have control when you got a system that's still out of control? Oh, man. Am I making any sense to you?
Yeah, we see it every day.
Out there? What you say? You got a system that's out of control. I mean, do you want to be part of a corrupted system? Or do we want to be part of a system that is working for the people? So if it takes an international system of a conglomerate of all of these, which all of their systems are corrupt, but it's not just our system, it's their systems as well. Because like I stated, that all of these systems of ways are the ones that they have total control over, and they've corrupted it, right? Because they control the money. If they're saying, okay, well, my country needs X amount of billions of dollars to sustain it, well, then you got an international banking system, right, or World Bank that looks at all the numbers and they say, well, we get that they were operating out of control under this amount. Well, they might have started decreasing those amounts to a sustainable, because they probably get, that's why you got all of these Federal Reserves, and, they have these people that work the numbers and the figures and state that, there has to be, it has to all, that's why you got mayors and, you got your governors, and, you got all of these bodies and systems, and they know in the wake of these public figureheads that run these public offices, they know of the amounts of money that needs to be that they need to make in these governmental bodies, that to where they can be in operations of a fair, I guess, paycheck, what have you, because there's no telling how many kickbacks, how many earmarks that they're getting, right? Got to have sexual identification and catfish in Pakistan.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that.
Gotta have that. I'm about to have to jump out of this damn truck, man. But I'm just trying to raise awareness to everybody that, I mean, this stuff goes on. It even gets better. I mean, and I'm telling you, it's not the same old thing, man. Where people think it's the same old thing, it's not the same old thing, man. That what I brought and what we brought here tonight, that proves that there is a different type of operations in a way of things that's going on, where people want to awaken themselves to their timelines, and they like, well, man, this Revolution Radio, man, this is totally different than what I'm used to hearing. You see something? And Darren, Paul, you know, we bring this difference over the airways that a lot of these stations that don't bring this type of information over the nighttime airways. They rather bring you the maybe whatever happened with that school shooting, and it's always got to be about the
Okay.
guns. Huh? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Revolution Radio does no bullshit. We tell you how we think and how we react upon time of what happens around the world. And we do it correctly every day.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is we do it all around the world. Like I've got lovely gentlemen and some fantastic friends always. And yeah, definitely Sarge, definitely you. And this lovely person who I've just met, I'll even put you in a friends list as well. But the fun part about it is Revolution Radio is the best part, how to get your real idealisms. Like I look in Australian, I look in British, and I look in the American, I look in, I'm here, there, and everywhere. So quite amusing. But yeah, when you collate it correctly and you can understand, well, where's it growing or where's it going to, right? How can we shut it down if necessary? Like, well, obviously, are we all ready for World War III or would like to shut it down? Personally, I'd like to shut it down. Each to their own. Can you say yes or no?
Shut what down? What
Yeah. Shut down World War III or contain it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you read King Alpha's plan, we've been in World War III.
Well, actually, it could be World War V, but yeah, if you count the interactions over the years. But yeah. Okay, let me put it a different way. Nuclear war, yes or no?
What?
A big hell no.
Yeah, we don't need
Nah,
that.
hell no, we don't need, hell no. That's like we need another tornado.
Yeah. I'm getting a bunch of rain right now. Definitely don't need it. Here it is raining on me again. I wish it would have rained up there and then not rain down here. But yeah, we definitely don't need no World War III. That's for sure. It's just you figure that's would have done, got all of this stuff corrected to where we would be in a betterment type of system. Of ways of what they wanted to try to bring upon planet Earth. That you would, I don't know, man. I just feel disgusted in my heart to know that they had all these women that's been up in that office for all these years, and the only thing that they can see is, let's have trickle down economics. So they know better than the freaking men that was up there, and these are mothers. So what that tells us that they were only looking out for them and theirs. They wasn't looking out for the betterment of the people as a whole. So that goes to show you that and they're freaking old now. And all the fire and desire that they had that's supposed to be what they joined the government for is to make a betterment of society. But this is why we have such a hardship of today. They haven't made it better. And I feel ashamed for these women. What was her name? The Supreme Court that just died, that little short lady. You know what I'm talking about, Sarge? The one with the glasses that just passed away.
Yeah, I forgot her name though.
How you say her name? Yeah. The little Khazarian woman. And the best thing she ever brought was voting for women or whatever. However, you know how you say it. I used to know her name real well, and it's on the tip of my brain.
Yeah, because you get caught up in so much information.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The fun part about politicians is when they pass away. And yeah, we had the best one in Australia. His name was Harold Holt, right? And he went for a long swim off a short pier at Sorrento and never got found. Apparently, the Russians got him, but in real life, the Great Whites did, because I was around that area, and yep, and Great Whites, really notorious around there. So, but I wasn't Russian, but it was definitely a fish. It was a fishy scenario, is what we can say.
Hmm. Yeah, you see that politician brain didn't protect him against those killer sharks, right?
But he was the best prime minister in the world. He did take a long walk off short pier whilst in power and disappeared. Over.
So, as we stated that, you know, how do y'all feel about this, you know, this global governance? And doesn't it sound like what I just read? Doesn't it sound like that? It's no different than what we used to with these talking about these corporations and all these people that, and, you know, this is supposed to be the people that supposedly supposed to make this you know, these calls on all the way to operations, public private partnerships, and uh this is the way that there's no different than what we've been having all these years. You know, I don't get where they think that this thing sounds any different, if no matter if it is international. So what is y'all thoughts on if they say that they want to bring private partnership within on a global level of these corporations, you know, and it isn't that what we got right here in the United States? I mean, where the hell were they trying to mind rape us again into believing it's something different? We've always
That's
had that
exactly
here.
correct. That's exactly correct. Always has been. Even trickles down, right? The funny part about it is they learn off the Russians. Or, you know, honestly, are you a communist country or not? Because if you're with Joe Biden, well, absolutely you are. But yeah, because you only got a two-party system, which is one party.
Yeah.
That's communism. And same with us here. You know, but the beauty about us, we've got less population, so we can actually fight back a little bit, and people listen because less population. But if you got too many, you know, over 4 years almost, or you know, 2.5, how many migrants have you copped? You know, oh my gosh. It's like millions and millions. So yeah. And Chinese, yeah, and all the cartels. I don't want to name anything, but yeah, it's so funny. They've let out all their prisoners and swamped the borders around the lower half, and yeah.
Yeah, just like
And,
Castro. Like what Castro did with Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Actually, Castro was actually not that bad if you actually listen to, well, one of our favorite wrestlers. Yeah. And you got to understand, America's always been a bully.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry to say it to the American people, but yes.
Oh, we already know.
It's
We
not.
know. You ain't telling us nothing. We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. South Park did it the best. We're half country, we're half Western. Yeah. you know, but they fly with the same wings, you know, they take flight. Now, if you clip their bloody wings and put third or fourth parties properly back in, might actually get back. Now, remember, we built our countries. I know from Tucker and 2Feathers, you move the country along still. The fun part about it is, I know you're doing it for the right directions, but yeah, unfortunately, your politicians don't do that. And ours too. Mate, we got Dan Andrews in bloody Victoria, Australia. Yeah. And I know where he lives, which is funny. I'm not allowed to say that, but anyway, not that I don't do anything. I will sue him eventually.
Mm-hmm. So
Now, how many times can you say that you've rang up your the people that, you know, your parliamentarian of
politician?
Yeah, well, we call them pollies. Your parliamentarians. That's the one. Let's spell it out. Yeah, correctly. Yeah, the pollies. Now, how many times have you actually gone and seen them face to face? I guarantee you, bugger all. The only one that I know of, especially in Revolution Radio, on the American side, is Mechanic. On the Australian side, it's me. And I've done it multiple times, and I've been there, done that, and, you know, even broadcasted it back in the day. Funny as. But I even pick on the police now because they're useless, totally useless. We ring up 000, you do 911. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, I'm about to have to jump out of this truck. I just was getting myself together here. I'll put my phone in my thing. I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, it started to rain pretty hard here. Go ahead, Sarge. You want to say something? Talk a little bit.
Just, man, I mean, we talk about it every day, you know. You look at the bullshit going on and give how we feel. I mean, it all comes down to the currency, the flow of the money. That's the fuel for all of this crap. I'm watching this series called Rome. It was on HBO, and the timeline is when Julius Caesar, from when he got stabbed, and it's very interesting because you can see the correlation of the Senate, you know, they meeting and trade with different countries. You can see the correlation, and I'm like, man, we really ain't learned nothing, huh?
That's right, by Pilate. Pilate killed Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's so funny. Who killed JFK these days? Was it the grassy? Yeah, was it the grassy knoll, or was it not? Because the Manchurian tried to even squeeze the trigger, couldn't even shoot a bloody barn door, and he was standing right next to it. You know.
Yeah, like that's the first time Rome ever killed one of their leaders.
I enjoy the Australian Army idealisms, and even Navy and Air Force places as well. I've been there, done that, and had some fantastic fun when I was growing up. And I knew it was all bloody rubbish because we had manifestos and this and that, the other, and blah, 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 right? And I couldn't spell to save me life anyway, so it doesn't really faze me, right? So it passes my, yeah, I said I didn't know how, I said I couldn't read that good, but yeah, so if you break it down and you teach me how to read it, well, it doesn't, I'll never forget it, but yeah. And some of the manifestos and this and that, the other, quite amusing is what I could say. And now I actually like to put them onto the police in Victoria, right, over the last, when they assaulted everybody. Yeah, I like to throw it in their face nicely and do reputable stuff and say, well, the merit points, I'm not suing the community, I'm suing you for your house or property or whatnot, not the community. And you know what happens as soon as I say that? They hang up on me, even though I'm in the right. And that's so funny because I go, do you acknowledge that you are being recorded twice? I know. It's so fun. Now, the fun part about it is record them. Film the police. Yeah. Film them all. Make sure you're always in the right and you've got the right attitude. Well, especially in America, please don't bring out your thing over if you get pulled up. Say, yes, I have a firearm. Yes, it's there, and blah, 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 and they'll leave you alone. And 9 out of 10 times, yeah, you'll be right. But other than that, yeah, it's quite amusing. I've done exactly the same in Melbourne town, Victoria, So, yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Hey guys, Aussie Paul, Sarge, 2Feathers, you guys. I'm going to sign off. Thanks so much for having me, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, please say something. Oh, please say something. We've missed your conversation at the moment. So, no, you can't get away without at least a 2 or 3 minutes conversation with me.
I would like to be a bearer of good news, like happy things and
No,
bright.
I don't care about bad news either. That's all good.
I would like to be able to tell everybody that things are just going to be just dandy. But
no, it's not.
I wouldn't be being sincere if I was to talk like that. I think
killed more rabbits than Khaleesi virus in Victoria, right? You got nothing on me. I've been abattoirs, I've been this and that, the other. I've worked for the army, and I love pissing off the police officers because they don't do their job, right? And I do that on, weekly or 2 basis and this and that, the other. But yeah, well, nothing will surprise me.
Yeah, I think we're in a real pickle. We're in a real fix. I think the social engineers, as it were, the big thinkers, the guys that are piloting this albatross, I think they got big plans, and they're not gonna let anybody stand in their way. I think they got the course set before them, and they're determined to get where they want to go. And it appears as though anybody that gets in the way is going to be ground under their wheels. It just has that.
Yeah, maybe. You haven't met Australians yet. Hey, Aussie. Yeah, we say buggy you and come say hello, right?
Aussie Paul, have you ever actually seen an ostrich with its head in the sand? Have you ever witnessed that?
No, we got emu.
Okay, emu.
And yes, yeah, you put a sock on the emu's head, and then you jump on it, and then you pull the sock off and see how long you can ride. It's like a bull.
A bull with feathers.
Funny as. Yeah, funny as. I lasted about almost a minute.
So that's a pretty hard. That's a pretty hardy bird that you could ride it around, man. That's saying something, you know.
I was young at the time.
Would
Didn't
it
say what
support?
age I was.
Would it support the weight of a full grown man?
Yep.
I mean,
Well, depending if you got a keg or a six pack.
right.
and height too. If you're, I'm 5'11", and yeah, with six pack, no problem. Yeah, anything bigger, like nah. But yeah, depending. You got to try and catch the bloody emu first. Put a sock over its head, even though it's cooped up.
Yeah, it sounds easy.
No, like when I caught the kangaroo. Yeah, you grab it by the bloody tail and shove it over your shoulder, walk up, put it on a dog chain, yeah, tie it to a tree.
Don't they teach those kangaroo to box? I think I've seen kangaroo boxing.
Oh, some are massive. Yeah, it's okay. We got firearms for them.
Yeah, that's something, man. You guys got a lot of exotic things going on down there. That's something.
No, they're not exotic. They're ours. Yeah. My favourite was when I held a black bear on Lake Labarge, on Lake Labarge, yes, and in a boat, and the poor bugger was drowning almost because it hurt us and tried to swim too fast, and I pulled it up, gave it a bear hug, literally, and it was surfing all the way until the side, and then we let it off. You know the funny part about that? The side that we let it off, I was only less than 10 kilometres, which is about 7 miles away, right? Yeah. Easy walking for the bloody bear that I let go. But also it waved to us and said, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have a good rest of the day. I'm gonna jet, but
all right.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Take care.
You want to promote your show?
Hey, did you listen to my last one, Sarge?
I'm gonna archive it. I'm gonna check it out.
I'm gonna look it up too.
Yeah, when is your show? On Sundays?
It's on Sunday evenings. It's on Sunday 6 to 8 Eastern time.
Sunday morning for me, or mid afternoon. Cool.
But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Everybody ought to get their own radio show. You know what? It's kind of a kick.
You got to have fun. Yeah.
And get with me if you want like an intro or something to work on in the future. You know, think of a few things. You know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it sounds good. Yep. Hey, you guys take good care. Good to talk to you.
Hey,
all right, Darren.
Too. Thanks, Darren, for coming in, buddy.
Yep.
Take care. Be safe out there. Yeah, so here we are. We found ourselves in a predicament of what seems to be in a wake of these people, and in a way of what they want to bring is, it seems like a system of ways of these nations coming together, right? The Security Council playing a central and coordinating role, the G20 format as an important forum for discussing international economic cooperation issues, anti-crisis response measures in such areas as the international fight against epidemics, world economic recovery, inclusive sustainable development, improving the global economic governance systems in a fair and rational manner to collectively address global changes. Well, you see, it seems like to me that these global changes that they're bringing, we're hearing about, the EV vehicles, right? The electric vehicles, and these global changes that they're bringing are not so great. I saw a video clip of this ship that had these electrical vehicles on it, and one of the batteries exploded in transportation across the ocean and burned up all the cars on the deck.
Yeah, that's so funny actually, because salt water will react with the batteries, but they don't realize that once upon a time they had submarines that worked on batteries and diesel, right? Yeah, and if the batteries got wet, they'd do a whole release of whole lot of gases, I'll just say, because I'm not allowed to say exactly what they were, but or are, because there's some really, really bad ones. But yeah, for revolution radio purposes, we'll just say hydrogen. Yes, and amounts of hydrogen. So,
Yeah,
and
massive
then it
amounts.
goes,
Yeah.
and then it goes car boom, or catches on fire. Yes.
That's right, Possum.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's under a tremendous amount of pressure. That hydrogen, it has to be sustained under great amounts of pressure. You know, and that's the problem. That it's the process before turning into H2O, and it has to sustain its form of being able to produce electrical current. It has to, I guess, sustain this type of amounts of pressure that would evidently have the vehicle continue to run.
That's right.
So,
And
like
then
Paul's
it
saying that,
overpressurized, or salt water can contaminate and over pressurized, because some stuff won't shut or won't open. So
to
I'm not allowed to go. I'm not allowed to go into the engineering points of that or whatnot. But
right.
Salt water with lithium is not good.
There you go. So to Darren's point that he made a while ago, it says that when he was saying that Russia's on board with this with this jabberoni type of thing, that a lot of these countries are following.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
Huh?
No, Vladimir actually said no to the jab, and that's the reason why. And also, if you did actually try and look up the history of bloody Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine had been pushing for this war forever to get NATO on their side. And thank you very much, America. I don't know who instigating it, but yeah, it wasn't Trump, but yeah, we know roughly.
All right. So if they're not on board with the jabberoni, but it seems that Russia and Chinese governments also believe in the poly crisis. They too assert that international economic cooperation, unquote, is essential to combat the multifaceted crisis of everything. So the G20's discussion of, quote, international economic cooperation issues and anti-crisis response measures, unquote, led to the 2022 Bali Leaders Declaration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're trying to do blue on blue, and it's the elitists trying to honestly, in Australia, we'll go das vidanya, yeah, goodbye, or hello, yeah, goodbye, thank you, but yeah, or ni hao ma, hello, how are you, China, right? America's got nothing to do with our back, nor France, nor bloody UK, nor nobody anymore, right? Honestly, it's just pure bullshit. It's
And this
and they're just
valley,
trying.
huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, they're just trying to kill everything, right? To make them greedier and greedier. You know, the funny part about that is we've got so many bloody, really, really good soldiers that can bloody take them out. All the wealthy. Yeah, just bang, one bullet or two. Doesn't matter. You know, all of them.
So just to note that this Valley Leaders Declaration, it has multi-pages. I wouldn't mind printing this stuff out and read it for myself. And there's multiple stuff things on here. I would love to be able to, print out on a printer.
Oh yeah, mate. All the blue bloods and this and that should be taken out. All the deep states and this and that, mate. We can do an operation, not hard at all, right? I could.
Well, let me say this, Paul, that this Valley Leaders Declaration, in the overview, which states we designated the G20 the premier
Prime Minister, Sinister.
Listen to this. Wait, listen to this.
Yeah.
We only got a couple minutes left.
Premier.
The premier forum for global economic cooperation. You see?
Exactly.
So that's basically what
it's a corporation.
It's a global economic
Shut it down.
corporation. Huh?
That's right. It's corps. They're dead. We knew corporations are dead entities, so they can't be sued. So you take out the dead entity, the people who run it.
Right.
Yeah,
so the
that's
thing
my
is, they had to create this global, like I was saying, economic corporation, because they have all corrupted the systems of their own countries, and that's the problem. You gave them,
That's right.
ran away with all the wealth and all of the rulings and
Exactly.
You
Do you know
see?
what they call that? Do you know what they call that?
What?
In any espionage, and espionage for starters.
Sabotage.
And you know what that is? Penalty of death.
Tyranny and sabotage. That's what I call it.
Well,
Two plain words.
Depending, saboteur and sabotage is actually going against tyranny and this and that. Get it correct?
Sabotage is a total takeover of your system.
But depending where you're going, if they're sabotaging people, that's totally tyranny.
Yeah, what you think they done? They totally have.
That's what I'm saying. Don't call sabotage on the elitists. It's tyranny. They call you tyranny.
Yeah, we tyranny. How we tyranny? We never caused this bull mess.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah, we never caused this tyrannistic
Did you?
state.
Did Sarge? Did Brett? No.
Yeah, man, they sabotaged the whole system.
Exactly. It's tyranny.
Now the saboteurs. No, because look, you had Nancy Pelosi go on CNN stating she knows what's best for the people.
That's a saboteur on the inside.
Exactly. She's the mother. Yeah, she knows Aunt Nancy. She knows what's best.
Inside tradie.
Chucky Schumer.
Inside tradie. Yes, we don't know. Oh, Paul Pelosi. Oh, what happened there?
There it is,
anyway.
Folks. Thank you, Knight. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Sarge. Man, y'all enjoy the night. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this again. That's for damn sure.
Take it easy, y'all.
Stay tuned for who's next. We love y'all. Starting off. We got to jump. We got to bail. Start the ship. Love y'all. Come on back and join us again next time. Reality show. We out of here.
you for listening to Revolution Radio.
Love y'all.